Good evening, guys. Javier here with The Real Javier Novoa, a channel, a platform, and a modality where we apply the principles of philosophy, spirituality, mysticism, and interiorism to rapid lifestyle transformation. We are setting forth the principles of interiorism, ladies and gentlemen, which, as we've explored in the past few videos, are not original with me, but they are being put into relief for the specific audience that I am targeting here in our videos, or I am catering to in our videos, as well as for the certain paradigm and the certain result that we're seeking, which is rapid lifestyle transformation, which means getting you independent from the prison grid, getting you independent from a job and a boss within 6 months to a year, at least being on that path. And this is going to vary for each individual. And there are a lot of channels that are starting to discuss this. The FIRE movement is very interesting. It's something that I've been investigating for a little while, and they do have very good tenets and very good information on those channels, as well as the Extreme Early Retirement, which is another book that actually we're going to be drawing on in this channel because it relates a lot to what we're trying to do. It gives a lot of tools, a lot of paradigms. It's called Extreme Early Retirement by, I think the person's name is Linder. I will look up his name, but it's a great book, ladies and gentlemen. He's a physicist and he lays out a lot of these things. But the difference in our channel between all these other channels, and I encourage you to watch these other channels, especially if you're interested in rapid lifestyle transformation, interested in doing your own thing and being free from having to work at a job. I'd invite you to watch all those channels. But our channel here is emphasizing the leverage aspect and the power aspect that comes with a knowledge of metaphysical law, a testing of that, and seeing that while you can spend 5 to 10 years trying to save and invest $200,000, you can leverage this material to get where you want to be a lot quicker. But in order to do that, we have to establish ourselves, ground ourselves in the knowing, ladies and gentlemen. And that knowing is that all of the change, all of the impact, in fact, 100% of the impact is on the interior, not on the exterior. And so, at least 90% of the focus, if not more, should be on the interior, on the internal. And the reason it's 90 and not 100 is because when you get completely in touch with the spiritual and grounded in the interior, then you're going to be inspired to a lot of action. But it's going to feel not like push, it's going to feel like you're being pulled to it, and it's going to be effortless, ladies and gentlemen, because you're going to be in the zone. But in order to get there, you have to be well established in the principles that we're going to be teaching. And today I just wanted to talk about the activation of this. In the last video, we talked about the first principles of interiorism, and that is, first of all, knowing the oneness, and then the main pivot of that is going into the stillness, going into the silence, and being still. And from going into the stillness, from going within, we can then apply any tools that need to be applied, and also be inspired to anything that we need to be inspired to. But the activation of this system, ladies and gentlemen, it's not going to activate itself. Now, we're always creating from the interior by default. But the impetus for those creations for most people are simply the consequences of the past creations, because everything on the outside, although it can be traced to physical and material causality, it's not being caused primarily by the physical and the material, because as we know, there is no physical and material in the ultimate. So the only cause must be the spiritual, the one. And that is your consciousness. So everything that's happened before is caused by you. Now, you can do what most people do and simply by default react to that cause and then allow that to act as another cause for another effect. or you can break the chain. And the way you break the chain is by activating the mechanism, if you will. And activation of the mechanism is simply taken by you knowing this material, by you knowing the principle of material or interiorism, not materialism, that's the principle that most people are going by, but by you knowing the principle of interiorism, and then you activating it by deploying your focus. And then you begin to focus despite the circumstances, but despite the impetus, just a little bit in the direction in which you want to focus. This is a pitfall in itself for a lot of people, because they say, well, my focus in a huge universe is so tiny, and my ability to bring about an effect in such a grand universe is small, and I can't even control my own feelings, so there's a limit to how much I can focus. But we say, because of the fact that we know from the previous videos, we're going to be doing videos, deep dive scientifically and philosophically in this, simply to give you the confidence that this is actually scientific, this is actually based upon empirical evidence. But the universe out there doesn't exist. It's simply a projection of the interior. As Neville Goddard said, everything and everyone is you pushed out, is your consciousness pushed out. Therefore, even if you can just focus a little bit, that focus is a lot, because it's not having to act upon a huge external universe. Rather, all it has to do is direct your consciousness, which is the only thing that exists anyway. So, the conclusion is, focus even if it be a little, and even if it not be powerful at first, because as law of attraction teaches us, when we focus, the power of that focus is modulated by the feeling of it, or the feelingness of it. Well, for example, let's just say you're broke, right, or in debt. Well, if you focus on $1 million, the first day or the first time you focus on that, you're not going to believe in that. You're probably not going to believe in it at all. Therefore, that focus in a law of attraction modality is not going to be powerful. It's not going to have the feeling charge necessary to attract those things to you. However, we know, because of the fact that of our knowledge of non-duality, we know that everything's one. Therefore, in reality, there is no law of attraction. There's law of assumption, because there's only one. Therefore, it doesn't matter the power of the focus. Just focus as you can focus, which is focusing a little. So, for example, if you find yourself $100,000 in debt, you can always just change that thought, even if you don't feel it right now. And you can think to yourself, I am out of debt, and I'm right now purchasing a bottle of champagne cash to celebrate being out of that debt. Now, the irony, not an irony if you know these principles, but the magic of this is that then by doing that, you create, even in the law of attraction modality, you create a little groove which then gets stronger with each practice of that. And you'll be persisting in that. You'll be practicing this every time a negative thought comes up. You'll be going back to that general principle of, no, I've paid my debt and I'm buying that bottle of champagne. And then, eventually, over a small amount of time, that will accumulate power, and then it will attract everything to you. You see how we utilize the leverage of this process? We're pushing even further back than law of attraction, because law of attraction says you have to believe it, you have to do processes so that your thoughts will be more powerful in conjunction with feelings. But this modality pushes even further back and says we don't even need to do that, because we know that everything is one, we know that it's all interior, and so therefore all we do is just focus, and then the process will take care of itself, and it will come. And it will come more rapidly than you thought possible, but you cannot check it on the outer. That's another issue of this. As Abraham Hicks said, you can't have $1 million in your bank account today, but you can feel what it would be like to have those $1 million. And we would even push it further. You can have that $1 million in your account now. Why? Because you can imagine it within as happening. you can imagine that number in your account. And if you apply consistently the principles of interiorism, you won't go and immediately check your bank account and say, no, I still don't have that $1 million. No, rather you'll persist in that assumption because you'll know that it's already done in the interior. Do you see the great power of this modality, the great leverage that this packs? You no longer even have to worry about trying to believe it. All you have to do is give the focus, which is the only thing you have, which is the true you, which is the true power. But you have to activate it. As Neville Goddard said, you are the operant power. You have to do this. I can't do this for you. And you can watch hours of videos. You can watch my videos. You can watch other videos on law of attraction and law of assumption. But the only thing that's going to move the needle for you is if you actually go within and practice these modalities. In the last video, I invited you to go into the silence, and we invite you to do this often. In fact, we invite you to do this many times an hour. As Joel Goldsmith said, meditate 100 times a day. Revisiting that and going back into that is going to modulate your consciousness, and it's going to train your mind and body in such a way as to be able to respond on a moment's notice to whatever vibration you're offering in your focus. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the great Socratic goal of making the emotions and even logic subordinate to that great reason, to that higher mind. So now the body and the lower mind are subordinate to the higher mind. This is the goal of the philosophers. We're going to teach you how to do it easily and effortlessly, and you're going to accomplish more in a very short time than many people accomplish in months and years. So thanks for watching. Have a great weekend, guys. And this week we're going to be going more into the scientific and philosophic aspects of interiorism. We're also writing about this. So keep watching, guys. Keep liking the videos. And please, I invite you, if you've not subscribed to the channel, things are about to take off in a very exciting way. I invite you to subscribe below and like the videos. We have hundreds of videos about rapid lifestyle transformation, and coming up about this massive and powerful modality of interiorism. I am doing coaching calls. You can email me below and jump on a call. We'll take you hand in hand through this modality. So until very soon, guys, this is Javier with much love and appreciation. See you soon.